know, we come to the off the deep end every week, and Dave is usually here with me, Bree, here at the Hummingbird CCA workbench.
Yes.
But guess what? You get to
I'm here
fill
today.
in.
I'm filling in for Mr. Dave.
And you know what? Being that you've caught plenty of trout in your time, tell me
Yes.
what rod you're using here, Bree. I see this is your special rod.
It's a bit pink, and that's fine. We all love pink rods. It's a 7-foot Okuma Kalin loaded with Suffix 832 braid.
Right.
And it's got a Bass Assassin clacker bobber right there. And it has a 1/4 ounce Bass Assassin jig head with a 4-inch sea shad in, what is that, chicken on a chain,
That is
I believe?
chicken on the chain.
There we go with those names again.
Yeah, man.
I swear.
It's loaded up with the Okuma RTX, which is the perfect light 40 series size reel, as you know.
Yep.
But you know, Bree, when we're talking about trout fishing, it is singly the most popular species where there's more money spent on trout fishing in the state of Florida than any other species.
I did not know
And the
that.
reason why is simply because you can catch them off of a pier, you can catch them off the bank. Typically, most people use just a standard popping cork like this with little rattles in there, as you can tell. The reason I like these is because you can obviously adjust your depth as you go to different places. We use these for tarpon fishing. We use them for all different types of bobber deal. You can put a jig head underneath this like you had there rigged,
Yep.
as well as you can use a live bait, you can use a live shrimp. That's where all the money comes in, of how people spend so much money. They're buying shrimp by the dozen.
Right.
And then you can certainly put in a live bait. But this is my tackle box, the tackle trays, and I'm going to tell you probably my single most favorite way to catch a trout is to catch them on a topwater plug. The Rapala skitter walk, whether it's the chartreuse and silver, with the chartreuse belly, or in, they also trout love suspending type of plugs like the Balsa Extreme Minnow. You know, I really like all the Rapala brands when it comes to throwing hard baits. And the reason why I like them so much is because of the reflective materials that they have built into the plugs. Now,
Right, we heavily use this one most of the time when we go with all the captains.
Yeah.
And that seems to do the trick quite a lot on these little babies.
You're right, because of the noise that makes. And trout love noises. That's why
that why
the
you have this?
popping cork works, the rattling corks work.
Yep.
They like shapes and sizes as well. This resembles a bigger mullet. Then we have this little sub walk, looks like a baby finger mullet. So a lot of times that's what trout like, is silhouettes. So as fishermen, we kind of have to change as the migrations of bait come in and out. So shrimp,
Match
you're going to
the
want to
hatch,
match
right?
the hatch. That's correct.
See 'em
But
running.
make no mistake about it, trout love soft plastics. So in this particular case, we have the Elite Shiners, we have 4-inch sea shads. There's a whole variety of different colors. This is the Mississippi Hippie. You can tell it's gold.
Yep.
And this would be a color that I would typically use on a dark bottom. As the bottom kind of lightens up, or if the water lightens up a little bit, then we might change our color. We might go to a simple color like the Smoke Wagon. As you can tell, we have a 5-inch sea shad here, and it can be rigged weedless. So if you're fishing on sand, then you want to lighten up the colors, Bree. And then it just seems to last. A trout is an ambush feeder. So he's gonna lay in a pothole on that sand below the grass, you see?
Yep.
And then as a mullet swims over, a pinfish swims over, a
Bam.
shrimp, yeah, absolutely. Unsuspecting what's going on.
Right.
Now there's different ways you can rig that. You can rig it with a jig head in the nose, you know, like this, or you can use a Bass Assassin jig head. You can also rig a lot of these things weedless. So I want to take a second, show you guys at home how we rig this weedless. This is the Bass Assassin swim hook, and we're going to put a die dapper, which trout love, 5-inch soft plastic baits with paddle tails because of the vibration. We screw that into the nose, and then we're just simply going to push this through the bait. Now, the key to this, when you are getting weedless type of hooks, guys, is make sure that you purchase one that when the bait gets bit down, the trout, the snook, the redfish bites down, that there's enough gap between the point and the shank of the hook to push the plastic down so that you can hook them. If you don't have a big enough gap here, Bree, what'll happen is you just barely poke him. This doesn't poke through the membrane on the side of his face, and guess what? He usually gets off.
Right. It's happened to me a few times, but that's all right.
But that's all right.
Can't catch them all.
And the key is when you get a good trout bite, especially if you're working top waters, and I'm sure the captain shared this with you, is just keep walking the dog, keep twitching, let him hook himself.
Twitch, twitch, right?
Speaking of hooking yourself.
Speaking of hooking myself.
You have hooked yourself into the job here.
That is correct. Well, I think, Rick, we did a really good job. Dave's been out, but we held down the fort. But remember, guys, fishing never stops in Florida. So if you have pictures you would like to share with us, we want you to post them on Instagram or Facebook using the hashtag CFIFR.